With us right now, we have the head coach for the Belvidere Bucks, Chuck Leonard. Hey, Coach, good to have you along, and I'm sure you're happy to get that first week of practice in.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
So how's practice been so far?
It's gone well. You always you go all summer, and then you have that first week of August off there, the layover there, the dead time, and you're always waiting to see how the kids are going to respond coming back. And they were excited. They came out with a lot of energy that first week, and it was a good week for the Bucks.
And you got a quarterback coming back this year. That's going to make you happy too, doesn't it?
Yeah, always good when you got a returning quarterback. Austin Revelinski will be back. He did a real nice job for us last year. Real versatile guy, can run it, can throw it, and he's made big strides this off season and this summer so far with more of a leadership role, and with that we've been able to expand some of the things that he can do and put a little more on his shoulders. So we're looking for a good year.
You know what I like about Austin? I saw him play basketball a lot this year. I saw him play baseball. He's just a plain old athlete, and usually he can adjust to the situation, and I think that's a big, important part for a high school quarterback.
Yeah, he can think on his feet when he's out on the floor, and the nice thing is he can make plays if things break down. He's versatile enough that if something breaks down in the passing game, he made quite a few strides last year to not try to force anything, but try to break down and try not to force anything, but he'd pull it down and take off. So did a real nice job.
What do you guys have coming back around Austin? You guys have been pretty explosive on offense here the last few years. Do you guys have some good weapons around him to take advantage of his abilities?
Yeah, we feel pretty good about some of our skill guys coming back. We have a senior, Will Morris, a wide receiver, who was doing really well the first couple of games for us, and it's often way overlooked, but probably I'd say one of the best stock blockers that we've had in recent years. And so we have him coming back at receiver. We've got a couple of sophomores, or a couple of juniors that played up as sophomores last year, one in Phil Kolk and another one in Sean Bean, who will see some time there too. So we feel pretty good about our skill kids offensively, and on the defensive side of the ball, we like our linebacking core. We've got a pretty solid group of backers with some experience there. So that's kind of where we're at with experience.
When you look at the numbers, I know I've talked to some schools. Numbers are down a little bit. Is everything okay over Belvidere? You just see a lot of schools have to make some adjustments, and kids going both ways a lot of times.
Yeah, our numbers are down. We'll have low 30s at the varsity level. So we've talked to the kids. We've talked quite a bit about mentality and makeup and what it's going to take and what's going to be expected of them and what roles. So we just want to make sure the kids are aware of exactly what's going to be asked from them. And so far they've embraced that and are excited about it.
You talk about having lower numbers. A lot of times in the last year, I know especially you guys would score quickly, a lot of big strikes, things like that. Do you try to maybe adjust the game plan offensively a little bit so you don't wear down on the defensive end, or do you just kind of go and say we need to put up points and kind of let the defense fall where it may?
If you go back to last year, our offense really evolved as the season went along. We did get a little more conservative as the year went along, and some of that was to, there's some pretty high-powered offenses in this conference, and definitely some teams that can put up some points. And the more we can hang on to the ball, yes, it gives the defense a break, and then also it allows the defense to rest. And obviously, a team can't score if they don't have the ball. So yeah, we increased the run game a little bit more last year towards the second half of the season, but. The thing we've prided ourselves on the last 4 years is, being very balanced and being able to take whatever the defense is giving us. And, we'll come out and look to do that again this year.
Special teams, how they look this year, Coach?
Always a great place to start. This morning is actually in about an hour from now we're going to get started, and huge focus on special teams this morning. It's something that has been huge for us in the past, and Coach Hill, our special teams coordinator, does a fantastic job there. We feel special teams won us a couple ball games last year, so it's I know a lot coaches will say, all three phases are the same, but we really try to put a huge emphasis on it here and really try to make that something special for the kids. If you're on a special team, that's because we believe this is where we're going to make plays, and you're going to be a contributor.
You talked about some of the high-powered offenses, and you even get some of that, from some of the lower-tier teams in the conference, which, we've really seen the bottom improve over the last few years. How do you guys approach that on a week-to-week basis, with some of the different offenses you see that are pretty high-powered?
Well, I know our defensive coaches spend quite a bit of time this summer trying to look at each particular offense and each style of offense in the conference here and try to adapt what we're doing defensively to really be able to adjust to whatever the offense throws out there. Because you really look, we've got some different style offenses in the conference here. You've got teams that are spread and that'll throw around a little bit. You got teams that are spread but like to run it out of that. You got teams that'll go double tight and try to pound it at you. So you gotta from one week to the next, things will change up quite a bit, and you certainly got to be prepared for that.
Well, you're no longer a new coach at Belvidere. You've had a few years under your belts. How much does that help as you get the program moving along in the right direction, Coach?
It's been nice because I've had the chance to when I came in. This will be 4 years ago now. Had the chance to pick Coach Mike Hearn's brain a little bit, and he's always a good one to talk to. I got a lot of respect for him, and if I say I played for him 20-some years ago, it might date him a little bit, so I won't say that. But so I had the chance to pick his brain a little bit, and the nice thing is I still have a chance every now and then. I went up and saw Coach Pottinger this summer and talked to him a little bit, just to there's a wealth of information right there. So I love our coaching staff. I think we got a great staff in place, both the varsity level and the first soft level, and we're just we're looking forward to a good season.
You guys play up in the conference, essentially. If you guys do make the playoffs, you always drop down. How tough is that to kind of play up, and how much does that prepare you, if you guys can make it into the postseason?
Well, a couple of years ago, we ended up 5-4, and we went into the playoffs. And of course, at the 5-4 seed, you're going to play the number one ranked team in the state. And just a couple minutes to go, we had Geneseo down, or we were down 3 to them, and it's just it's that schedule is tough, absolutely, for a school our size to play, a 5A school playing 6 and 7A teams. It puts us through the ringer, but we're certainly we're a better ball club for it coming into the year.
We're talking to Belvidere head football coach Chuck Leonard, and when you look at the history of Belvidere, and I know I asked you this last year, but like you said, Coach Hearn, Coach Pottinger, man, there is just a wealth of tradition there. I mean, they could almost make a Hoosiers movie out of some of that stuff. I mean, it's got to feel pretty good when you get out there on that football field representing the Belvidere Bucks, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. The nice thing is I grew up here in town quite a few years ago, and it was nice because we had kids then. What do we want to do? We wanted to play for Belvidere, and after I graduated and went and played in college, after I was done there, I just wanted to coach here. So it's nice to be able to come back home and still be part of the incredibly strong tradition of Buck football.
Well, Coach, thanks for coming on today. We appreciate it. I know you have practice in a little bit, and hopefully it's going to be about 67 degrees on that first Friday night on August 26th, and we can enjoy the weather.
That'd be nice. I'll hold you to that. That'd be great.
Okay, Coach, thanks. We've been talking to Chuck Leonard, the head football coach at Belvidere, and numbers are down in a lot of programs.
Yeah.
So it makes coaches work a little bit harder. When you're a smaller school, that's going to happen.
It's going to be especially tough there, just because, again, we kind of talk about playing up against 6 and 7A schools. It's going to be tough when your numbers are down.